Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Talk Real to Me podcast. I'm your host, Macaulay Stahowski. Today, we got Zack Nichols on here. He is the owner of Frame Photography. Today, our topic is going to be the importance of hiring a professional photographer. Zack, thanks for coming on.
Appreciate you having me on, dude.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Super excited.
Yeah.
Cool little setup we got down
It's
here.
awesome. I'm gonna be honest, I thought it was like way bigger when I was looking at like the videos and stuff because they do like the multicam, and I was thinking I was gonna walk into this big room, but it's comfortable.
Yeah.
You know?
Try and keep
I feel
it.
like I'm actually close to you and we're talking, you know?
That's how it should be, right?
That's good.
I love it. I love it. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been doing photography in general? Anything that people would like to know about you, go for it.
So I got into photography, I guess probably around 2018. I was just graduating college, and my wife and I, we were going to go on a trip to Ireland, and I wanted a camera. I've always kind of been into art, never been like great at painting or drawing or anything. So I was like, oh, I could take pictures, you know, like composition, you know, all that sort of stuff. And so we went to Ireland. I took a lot of great pictures I thought were at the time. Now they probably look back, they're terrible, but I had a great time with it and just kind of really enjoyed the process of taking photos, editing them, all that sort of thing. When I graduated college, I got a job working for a car dealership company, or a company that serviced car dealerships, doing all their photos. So we went to these lots and did new and used inventory and did all their photos and all that sort of thing. They laid us off when COVID hit in 2020, so I was unemployed for maybe 6 months. I had shot some real estate and stuff on the side, kind of before that, just for some friends and family that were agents. And then, you know, being laid off, I had all this extra time, all this extra money. I had a business degree I wasn't using. I was a business marketing major. So I kind of leveraged all of that and just said, I'm just going to build a business, just figure it out.
There you go.
So I started this business, came up with the logo, did some like basic marketing, just made an Instagram, messaged everybody I knew, and then here we are a couple years later.
There you go. And it's blown up.
It's doing good. It's
cool.
doing good.
It's been cool to see from when you first started to now. Let's hit on that topic. You said that you were working for a car dealership, so that's pretty unique. Talk about that a little bit. What did they hire you to do for that?
Like I said, we just photographed the new and used inventory. So it was like my boss wasn't really around. So pretty much all the jobs I've ever done have been kind of like self-supervised. So I would just, you know, be off doing these projects or whatever, and then they, you know, check in at the end of the day. So we'd go to the dealerships, take pictures of probably 30 cars a day. You'd be running around trying to do it in like 2 minutes of a car. You got to run, get the keys from the guys, doing all sorts of crazy stuff. And it's hot, it's cold, it's rainy. Like you're doing it in all the elements. But it was interesting because like it kind of exposed me to the fact that there's like the middleman of somewhere that's taking these pictures. Like you look online, you see houses, you see cars, you see like anything professional, you know, like if you're on Amazon, like there's somebody taking those pictures. So it kind of exposed me to like, okay, there's somebody that's a middleman doing these car dealerships. Like that was us. It was not fun.
Right.
And then, you know, when I started doing the pictures of the houses, like I looked back at those pictures, they're horrible. Like I had no idea that like any of like what I was supposed to be doing. And so I kind of looked into like, okay, like people do real estate photography too.
Right.
And so I kind of like, okay, if I did that for cars, you know, like there's no reason that you can't do it for something else. And there's a million wedding photographers, a million kids portrait photographers, and I don't want to do any of those things anyway. So It's like, okay, let's figure out how I can not only take photos, but also make money doing it because it's a business, you know?
Right. And like you mentioned too, there's a lot of people, they see a photo of a car, they think the dealership instantly.
You never even think about where it came from really. You know?
So that's the purpose of this, is to show that there's a platform for photographers that are out there, and you are our go-to.
Appreciate it.
We love your grind. We love your hustle. We love how prompt you are when it comes to real estate. We'll hit all those topics of being prompt that you have to do as a professional for your clients.
Realtors are demanding people.
They are. Yeah. And God forbid if it goes south, you know, I can only imagine some of the stuff that you see and go through.
It depends. But yeah, I mean, I'm at a fortunate point in my business where I've gotten to kind of select who I want to work with. And so the people that are difficult and all that sort of stuff, like I don't typically, you know, they don't work with me anymore. I don't work with them. You know, it's like a really nice balance of being able to kind of pick your own coworkers that are not your coworkers, but they are. You know?
Yeah. You're your own business owner.
Yeah.
So
you get to make those calls.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're right. Like there's people that like, they just cause messes, you know, and it's not good for us. It's not good for them. Like it's a whole thing. So.
Yeah. Unfortunately, if they call you back, you're busy. unfortunately.
Yeah, sometimes.
We get it. Let's talk about the packages you offer. So you have a lot of equipment that you do bring with you. Just on ours alone, we've called you for acreage before. We've called you for investment properties, small, large.
Yep.
You've shot some very, very big properties for us. Tell us about the equipment that you have that you bring.
So I'll kind of talk about the services because I think it's a good way to tie it in, but we do just standard photos. We do drone, we have 3D tours, we do videos, virtual staging, virtual twilight, floor plans, like pretty much anything you could think of for listings. We kind of do it all. So for the standard photos, obviously a camera, we use a flash to light up the rooms because rooms are very dark. Even if they have light, like taking pictures inside, you have to expose things properly, and there's different lights in this corner versus in this corner. So it's kind of a whole process as far as like dialing in the settings for the photos, but use a flash to light up rooms. We talked about the 3D camera that I have. It's a lot smaller. Do you have the one that you have that's really big?
I do.
You bring it out?
Bring this bad boy right here.
So that's a big piece of equipment, and it does a fantastic job, but it is time consuming, right?
Yeah.
So my whole aim is to essentially get in and out of a property. If we're doing a full listing like we do for you guys, those typically take me an hour and a half, I would say. If it's just standard photos, I'm in and out of a house like 30 to 45 minutes. So it just kind of depends, and as far as like the length of appointment, all that sort of thing. But the equipment I bring is small, fits in a backpack, and we try to get things done as quickly as possible. So like that 3D camera, a lot smaller than yours, and it does things, a lot quicker. I'm done with those 3D tours in maybe like a quarter of the time.
It's literally the size of an iPod Nano.
It's like a little candy bar is what I call it, yeah.
I was just explaining that out there, that this is a big old thing that was
you got to carry it around.
Normal 7 years ago, to where when you showed up with that, I remember asking you, hold on, let's slow this down. What is this?
I was actually introduced to those little 3D cameras at the car dealership job.
Wow, okay.
Future Ford, which is on Clovis, they do the 3D tours in all of their cars. So we would just prop it up, and then I was like, this thing's crazy. Like, it takes pictures out of both sides and then stitches them together. Like, I don't even know how it works, but
that's funny.
So they introduced me to that, and then I was like, wow, like you're using that for homes as well. So it was like just trying to do it all.
The part I like about the 3D tours, that caters to our clients. You've seen, we deal with a lot of VA. So we have a lot of people that are PCSing, moving state to state. So those 3D tours, Matterport, is what we call it also. So if we end
it's like calling it Kleenex. You know, like it's the name brand for 3D tours. So Matterports.
And those are very special to us. So when our clients end up looking and saying, hey, we want to look at this house, it's other than just pictures. You can feel like you're walking.
It doesn't always give you like the layout of the home that way. Like you'll see a standalone picture like, okay, this is of a room, but where is it in the house?
Right. And that 3D tour makes it so much better to where you can walk into a corner of a home and do a 360
and see say, like, okay, that's where that is.
Yeah. Or this is how these people have their couches set up.
Yeah.
Compared to.
And not even just like you guys do a lot of VA buyers, but it's also people like from the Bay Area, from down south, like those people maybe buying homes out here, buying investment properties.
Exactly.
There's a lot of different uses for them. I've done commercial buildings like doctor's offices and all that sort of stuff. So like the possibilities are endless.
I love it. You hit the topic of social media. That's one part we do love you also is every time that you come to our shoot, it's, hey, coming soon. Yeah. Not only coming soon, I see now that you're doing pending, you're doing sold, open houses.
I post everything.
Yeah. So I love the fact on the realtor aspect, on our profession, there's really no one that I've noticed that's out there that does that extra work. So go ahead and explain what you do on the social media side.
Yeah, so that comes a lot from my marketing background. They taught us social media. I took social media classes. So like just posting nonstop is kind of like the name of the game. I know sometimes it's overwhelming or whatever, but like if you're I have content to share all the time. So everything I do for these photos, like I can post it. So it's really easy for me to, if I'm at the house, like I need people to see what I'm doing, because it's important for me to grow my business that way. But it's also like, okay, with a following of 90% real estate people, like they're seeing these listings before they're going live. So if they're, a couple days out and you're like, oh, there's a nice house in Hanford or whatever coming soon. It's like, okay, I can, hit up this agent and be like, oh, what's the deal on this house? Is it, nice? Is it clean? Like, can we see it? All that sort of stuff. So it just kind of gives you a little bit of an edge as far as getting it marketed, quickly and efficiently and all that sort of stuff. And it's extra eyes as well. So
right. we could start where you were using a legit videographer camera when you first started.
Yeah.
To where now your reels.
The reels are a different thing.
It's cool.
So much more fun. So the camera, I was doing full video service, which is I was charging a lot more for them. They're time consuming to do. Sometimes I would outsource them to other videographers if I just like couldn't do it. It just kind of depended. But I also wasn't selling a lot of them, so I looked around and, you know, Reels and Instagram and all that stuff, like it's easy to view stuff that way. People aren't necessarily like sending out like my whole video file, which is like 2 gigs to people. So it's a much quicker process. They're done with a cell phone instead. So like I didn't bring any equipment with me because I am
It's all failure. Right. No, but, it's all right. No worries.
I have like a stabilizer that holds the phone in place, and, you know, we speed it up and add music and all that sort of stuff. And it gives you a really nice quick walkthrough, which I think is more exciting to watch than like the slower ones that are more cinematic. Right. It also, people have a short attention span. So when you're looking at a 2.5 minute video that's of a property versus one that's maybe a minute 15, the way that people view things, they're probably going to finish that video if it's shorter, you know? So right. Kind of a lot that went into the thought process behind that, but it's been a really popular service that I'm glad you guys do a lot of them because it lets me post them and then people are like, wow, like that was fun.
Got to have that also.
Yeah,
have
exactly.
I like the part of when we first get there, how we talk about how it's going to be
the planning out.
There's going to be running around, opening doors, or whatever it may be. I just did one
the other day with some agents that wanted to be in the thing. So like we had to coordinate where they were going to be, and they had props, and like it was a whole thing. See that. So it's like a lot of planning. For your guys, they're a little bit quicker because we can kind of walk through like, okay, hit this room, this room, this room. Macaulay, you're hiding behind the door, and then like you're in the closet in this area, then run out back and open the door. And
as I'm running around with my baby,
yeah, with the baby in your arms, it's like, all right, we just got to do it. But yeah, it's fun. Like, and I like the collaborative process that goes along with those videos. Whereas the other one's just like, all right, leave me alone for an hour while I film this. You know?
Right. Let's talk about your website. So. Another thing, seeing you grow, when you first started, you didn't have this. Now you've launched out a whole website.
Oh, the property websites.
Yes, this thing is so unique in its way to where, one, it looks clean, to where it's an easy click, and you're looking at every single thing that we have done on that. So go ahead and explain your website portion.
I just implemented a new content delivery system, which people have really liked. You guys have really liked it, especially the agents that, like you guys, they do all the add-ons and stuff. Like it really builds out the website to look really complete with everything that's, you know, just not standard photos. So these websites are linked with the content delivery system. So as soon as I upload all the media, whether it be photos, 3D tour, video files, floor plans, or whatever, it'll load it into a custom website with the agent's branded information like logos, headshots, contact info, all that sort of thing, or unbranded, you know, because like sometimes you're not compliant if you have branding on things. So there's multiple options, but it fills out everything for you. So you have a quick and easy link that you can text out to clients, other agents, post on social media. I mean, anything. It's just a link to a website, you know, with all of your stuff loaded. Whereas if you didn't have that, it's like, okay, I got to send these pictures to the client. I got to send them to the seller to make sure they like them or whatever. So it just makes it simpler on my end, you know, as like the uploading and delivery and all that, but it just adds value to your guys' end.
It does. And we appreciate that.
Yeah. And I've heard people really liked it for like listing appointments. Like it's just another value added thing. Like, hey, look what we do for your house, you know?
It is. And that is one of our biggest selling points as a brokerage. When Brian goes in there, she's offering a package to where this is coming with it.
Yeah.
You know, if you hire us, this is coming. That's is what we offer.
It's something that you don't even like, you don't have to do it. It's something that I do and just manage it. And then it's like, hey, here it is.
Yeah. And we do get those people that sometimes they're like, no, like we don't want it, or
don't need it. And then you still have it and then you don't need it. So
90% of our clients, they'll do it. And then we show them our Instagram, your Instagram, and say, hey, this is the package that he offers. Yeah. And usually that's the selling point right there.
Yeah, that's good. That's why I love Instagram. It's such a good like brochure, you know?
It is. So let's talk about the turnaround time now. So this is for everyone in general when it comes to real estate. You have a very quick turnaround time to get everything that you've talked about, Matterports, pictures, videos if they do the reel, your drone footage, all that stuff needs to get back in a timely manner. So how quick do you get that back to your clients?
Like I said, real estate agents, they're demanding people, you know, and they need things. Sometimes they need things done overnight. And it's like, hey, we need pictures today and we're listing this house tomorrow. So I would say it's pretty standard for most real estate photographers that are good at their job to have a 24-hour turnaround. If it's longer, then it's likely that they're just not, like hustling for it, because it's not that difficult to get stuff back that quickly. And it's, one of those things like, okay, if this takes a long time, then, when will we get it back? And then you're guessing. So when it's a 24-hour turnaround, you can know that if Zack does photos on Tuesday, you'll have them back Wednesday. You can look through them, get all your marketing done, and then it's listed and you're ready to go. So it's just like one of those things that if you keep things moving quickly, and even from my end, like I'm able to do more shoots that way if I'm not sitting on projects that I've done 3 days ago, so it just kind of keeps things going. And I like doing new things every day, like having the day not be the same as yesterday. So if I were going and looking at like 2 days old photos, like I'm not that interested in it. So I want to keep, just doing something different on a daily basis. That's what being self-employed is good for.
Yeah. Best part of real estate is it's something different.
The unpredictability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something different every day. Not once have I had the same transaction go through. Even the good ones, the bad ones. Every home's different too.
All different.
Yeah. We've walked into a couple doozies that are just like, hey, how good is your editing skills?
But those are actually like, I really enjoy the, like, not messy ones. I don't want to say like cluttery, but like the regular houses, like that just people live in. Sometimes the luxury world is not that fun for me, because you go into these houses and it's like, okay, it already looks beautiful. Like, I don't know. It's just one of those things. I like the regular houses. Sometimes the adventure and like the dirty house is like, okay, this is going to be pretty cool because it'll probably get sold to an investor. We'll do photos again on it in 6 months or something. And then it's like, you see the difference,
see the updated pictures.
It's fun.
Before and after. Let's hit that topic since we're on it. What is something that a seller or your own client that calls you and says, hey, we want to schedule you for pictures?
Yeah. What
could they do beforehand before you get there to make it easier for you?
So I have a pre-shoot checklist on my website, which has all of this information. And you can just, my website, it will, I'm sure, be linked in like the bio of the podcast or something. But
it will.
Sorry, what was the question?
You're good. What can sellers and
the pre-shoot
agents
checklist.
do?
So yeah, it's something that, if you have the house clean and presentable to your own standards, then I'm not going to complain about that. Like, some people live differently than others. But one of the main things that I would say as far as like getting the home prepared for photos is to declutter and depersonalize. So removing like Kleenex boxes, dish soap, toothbrushes from the sink, pictures of your kids splattered all over the wall. Like, you've got a whole mural of
personal
them.
Pictures.
Like a shrine to your love above your bed. Like, doesn't need to be in the pictures. It's going to make people look at the pictures and be like, oh yeah, they live there, So trying to set it up as close to you as you can to like a model home would feel is always ideal. But I mean, really the main two would be just to declutter and depersonalize, and then we can kind of work around things as we get there.
Right.
But always like, it's nice to not have to go clean up somebody's house when we get there. So we don't like touch big stuff, appliances and all that sort of thing. But if we can move stuff room to room and make it as easy on the sellers, us, agents, like all that sort of thing. If we can make it as easy as we can on everybody, then, we're going to do that. So.
Well, it's as simple as putting stuff into a closet if needed.
Hey, throwing it in a closet, throw it in the garage, then we'll pull it out afterwards. We've done that a lot too.
Yeah, a garage, just to note for anyone listening, if you're hiring Zack, you can put your stuff in a garage.
Garages and closets. Throw everything you need in
We don't shoot those areas.
Or under the bed. We don't go into there either.
Yeah, unless you have a massive walk-in closet that just needs pictures. Don't throw stuff in there.
If you want your closet photographed, then don't throw stuff in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but definitely, I think the cleanliness side that you hit. Another thing that I really like about you is how particular you are with blinds. So go ahead and talk about why.
Like the setup of all of it?
Yeah. Go ahead and explain that.
I know a lot of people, like, it kind of varies per photographer, but I don't do like the multiple blended photos where you get like the really clean look out the window. I feel like, one, everybody does it and it doesn't stand out to me anymore. It's kind of also distracting. So like when you're looking at these pictures and you see like, okay, everything's outside, like you're looking at the neighbor's car across the street. Like, we don't need to see all of that. So I don't do the multiple exposures. I instead have, it's single shots and these photos. So with the blinds, we tilt them towards the ceiling, which kind of bounces the light up, which is, where we kind of want everything. That's where the flash goes. It's easy to diffuse the light that way. Most ceilings are also white. So if you're shooting a light straight into like a blue wall, it changes the color of it. Every color is going to do that. So you want to bounce things off white as much as you can. It keeps things bright. And then obviously turning on all the lights in the house as well. So just kind of prepping it. Like, I'll go through the house when we get there and do a complete walkthrough. One, to make sure I know where rooms are at. Sometimes there's hidden bathrooms that are like just little like sinks with like nothing in it, and sometimes I miss those because I don't walk the house thoroughly. So I started making sure that I can see, every room, where it's at, make sure the lighting's good, make sure stuff's picked up, and then get started on the photos. So just kind of like the pre-prep,
Right. Knock it out.
Yeah.
That way when you're taking it, you don't have to sit there.
You don't
and
have to
worry
like,
about
okay,
anything.
figure out which lights are on, for the Matterports. You need all the lights on. The videos, like you don't want to be having some lights off, some on. Like it's just, an uneven, unfinished look.
Yeah, and take your animals with you too. We don't want to,
Yeah.
be having
At least
to
keep them in the garage or something,
Yeah.
There's been a lot of times, like the other day, I walked into this room and like there's a lump under the bed, and I'm just like, what is that?
No.
It's like a cat just burrowed underneath it, and he's just like sitting there. I had to edit him out because it was a vacant house, not vacant, but like the sellers weren't home, so
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna like drag their cat out of the comforter or anything.
I love it. Ending it up here, wrapping everything up. What is it something that you like personally about our brokerage? Since you came in to now, you've seen how we've worked full circle. What are some things that you like about our brokerage?
I really like, one, I love working with you guys because, like I said earlier, I get to pick who my coworkers are, and I feel like I become friends with all these people because we spend a lot of time together, But you guys also have really good communication. I like when I show up to a house, the sellers know kind of what to expect. Like I've been to many shoots where they show up and like, oh, you're doing pictures inside too. Like we don't have anything clean or whatever. So that you guys set the expectation with your clients, and that also you trust me just to do a good job. There's agents as well that like will hover you and, make sure like get this angle. Like I do a lot of these. Let me just do my job and trust that it's going to turn out good. And it goes a long way because it shows that one, you trust me, you appreciate the work I do, and just makes it overall an easier process. And you guys do all of the stuff, like you see the value in what I do as far as like the add-ons where you're doing these things for your clients, like it's helping sell their house quicker. So
Right. And that's the goal. When we hire you,
it's to sell the house quicker. That's part of it.
100%. And I feel that it's needed. Most agents around that they don't do that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
To where it's worth it, spend the extra 500, 600, whatever it may be.
You
however
see a
big
lot
the
of
house
people
is.
like just doing standard photos, and everybody like 10 years ago or something, probably nobody was using professional photos, and so it's kind of gotten to the point where standard photos are kind of like the baseline for your listing. Like you can't even list a house without professional photos, no matter what it looks like. Like they need to have at least that. So the value that comes with all that extra stuff that you guys put into your marketing plan, I think one, it goes a long way to sell houses quickly, efficiently, in large volumes, and also like it just makes it look really good for your sellers.
Right.
They're going to be like, oh, these people, if they have multiple listing presentations from agents, oh, these guys do all of this stuff versus this guy is like, going to take pictures with his cell phone or something. So.
Right. And the part I like about it too is open houses. When I'm at an open house and someone's walking through and I have multiple videos that you have for us. Instead of us sitting and waiting for a 3-minute video, I go to your reel, usually a minute. Say, hey, we have this one in this price range. It's, give or take 10 or 1,000
That's
more
cool.
or less.
You do that. That's cool.
Yeah.
So you use my own social media to like hey, we got these listings.
Yep. Yeah. There's times where I'll pull up our text messages just in that group chat with you, me, and Brianne, and say, hey, this is what we have available right here. So you just make it super, easy. It's just simple is what you need in real estate, and you do that alone just off of your extra stuff, the add-ons that you give.
Thank you. And I try to make it as simple because it's not your guys' job to worry about the media that you're doing. Like that's what you hire a professional to do. So I'm there to make it as easy on everybody.
Right.
It's just kind of what it is.
So you went to Fresno State, graduated there.
Yep.
If someone were to come up to you and say, hey, what's it take to be a photographer? How would you explain that process of
nothing? You just do it. You just figure it out. Like you don't need to go to school to become a photographer. You can, it'll teach you a lot of stuff. I did not take any photography classes.
I love it. I love it.
Like just entirely self-taught.
Yeah.
And like when I started with real estate, the pictures I was taking were terrible, and you'll always just get better with practice. So if you're going to do anything, like it doesn't matter what it is, like if you put in the time and the effort behind like wanting to get good at it, to be successful at it, then you'll probably be able to do it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Zach, well, we appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, man.
Us at Top Hook, you already know. We appreciate your promptness.
I appreciate you guys as well.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you again here, and we'll get everything squared away. And then, as always, for anyone watching, especially the veterans, thank you for your service. We appreciate it.